Great. The chair will ask if anyone from the public has questions of the applicant to understand the project. After questions are closed, the chair will ask if anybody from the public has comments. Members of the public will have up to 3 minutes per person to comment. Comments should be limited to the exterior design of the building and site. Comments will not be allowed as to the interior design or use of the project. Thank you for participating. And our first item on the agenda is Calvez LLC, Plot 6, Lot 119, 62 Dodge Street, the Darius Inn. You have to speak into.
You guys remember we came in.
Is the green light on?
Push.
Yep, there we go.
Okay.
We came in June to address the error in our windows and the gable windows from our construction project. A lot has happened since then, so you might not remember, and I'm
Yeah, I
happy.
noticed.
Yes, this has been growing for one. She was there at that meeting as well, but less present. Mike also wasn't present, and I know that you're upset about the windows, or the one that was, we didn't want to come to any decisions without you being present, so we tabled it until we confirmed that you were here. Of course, we're here. We can keep coming back. Yeah, so I don't know if you, what recap we should do. It was a error that we did not discover until the windows had been installed. And kind of just like fuddling around about like what to do about it. And it's kind of why we're here, not asking you for advice, because I know that's not your job. But one thing Glenn had put forward was an idea was to, so currently you can see the white of the window around the interior of the trim quite strongly. And one suggestion was like, if we just painted the interior of the window or put trim all over it so you couldn't see the window, and perhaps that would push the effect of the window protruding into the trim a bit. It's one suggestion that he sent forward before we came back. But
Can
That's-
you lower the window?
if we have to, that would be the next.
But then it becomes a safety issue though, so I think we would have to put, like, there's other things we'd have to do, which you might know because you're an architect, but
Yeah,
unfortunately we did measure and there's not really any, we could lower the window, but then we're gonna have to put plexiglass, or I'm not really sure.
some internal,
Yeah,
something internally.
it already is the minimum. Is it 18 inches? Is it, yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty sure we did double check on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And it's a quandary because you need an egress window.
What is this? What is the size requirement for that window?
You have to have 5.7 square feet of opening. So it's like a 3x5 window.
I wish I knew the
Can-
dimensions of the old window. I think we did send a
It might be
picture,
in,
but they were like, there was 2 panes and they were super skinny, super skinny. So it was a miscommunication. I don't know if you guys remember, we explained this last time with our
Yeah.
architect. We always assumed those windows would be replaced. They didn't work. They were super, like, they were non-functioning. Obviously, we could have replaced them with new ones that looked exactly like them if the building department allowed it. I don't know with.
Well, Glenn said that this wasn't the window that he
Yeah,
spec.
he assumed it was
Yeah.
staying. We assumed it was going. And then there were some other windows on our window schedule that we didn't end up replacing on the first floor. And the guy from Riverhead ordered one of those thinking it was going there. And
So-
it was-
and that's what.
I don't know if
got
you
installed.
guys remember that.
Yeah.
No, I
That's how-
I don't. I need,
Yeah, so it is actually that exact window was on our window schedule, but it was for the first floor,
okay, I
which
got,
is the window.
got all
here.
that, these are the third floor, right?
Yes,
In the gable.
Yep.
yeah,
So on the
And
first
they
floor,
go
we have
into,
some-
no, let's just talk about the gable.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Stay with me, please.
Yep, yep,
I
yep.
get
I'm
lost
sorry.
really fast.
Yeah.
You have the trim that goes into the,
Gable,
yeah,
gable, is that correct?
cuts in.
Yes, the window cuts into the gable trim.
Which I've seen a number of times.
Yeah,
Yeah. which is not preferred.
What I've
by
been,
us
I've
either.
looked at.
Yeah.
Yeah, there used to be shingles between
Yeah,
the trim, the window trim and the gable trim.
Yeah, historically, the top floor would have been a slightly smaller window, and that's the common convention. It's hard to miss this driving to town, and personally, I think it really detracts from the historic character. And to Gwen's idea of matching the trim, I think they did that at the Darius, because that window also.
It's
at
the
gable-
Darius.
The Darius, I'm sorry, at the beach house, the Gables.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
black-
they have the
same.
same.
That also cuts in.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I
the
think
avenue.
that also really detracts.
Yeah.
And I think we're at risk of chipping away at the historic integrities little by little.
Yeah.
And yes, Martha can say there are examples.
no, there are plenty,
The
sorry,
beach house is an example. Another example is this yellow house just down the lane, which when that new window was put in, slightly oversized or misaligned, and it chips into the trim. And I think that detracts from the historic character. I think it's problematic. I don't know if.
Obviously, it caught my eye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it detracts too. I think it's fairly noticeable.
I think I would feel a lot more strongly about it if there weren't the dormer on the back, because honestly, the dormer on the back is what has struck me in the way that we always say, well, look at this, but the thing that I have not noticed the window, except that, I looked at it. And the dormer just hit me as, oh my gosh, this is the kind of thing that we always look at everything from every angle. And the one thing we don't really look at is the one thing that we see, and that's the dormer. So I think that's already been, that building has had so many changes to it. And I know you can talk about chip away, but let's be honest here. I really find it disingenuous to sit here and say we will allow this one place and we won't allow it somewhere else when it's been allowed for 100 years. And we're also talking about safety issues. I kind of like it. Some of the older, narrower, smaller windows kind of freak me out. And I just don't think I think they were the size they were because that's what size they made the glass back then.
How many rooms are in that gable?
One.
One.
More, yeah.
So you could, in effect, only have one window there in the center and put the trim back the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not have a double.
Right,
Yeah.
Yep.
which would look very nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
You getting rid of the windows and doing a lot of carpentry, but
Yeah.
yeah, that probably would be possible.
I mean, that,
I
to me,
would-
that's probably a reasonable compromise.
I'd
You
want
wanna
to see a
make
mock-up
motion?
of them.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, if we go that route, we'd have to have something drawn up and come back, or
You'd what?
we'd have something, we'd draw it up and
Right.
come back.
But in conversation with Glenn, I think he made the point that that wasn't really part of the project. He didn't originally have anything to do with the gable ends. So,
Right, it was a miscommunication between us. Yeah, yeah.
no, I would vote.
Do you want to make a motion?
I think maybe,
Okay, so to make a motion for plot 6, lot 119, application for the Darius, to remove and replace the existing, what is it, a double hung window.
isn't there two in there?
Yeah.
Right,
Right.
that's why it's a double.
They're like together though.
Two
No,
double
it's
hung
one
windows, a pair of
piece.
double hung windows at the gable and replaced with a single double hung window, contingent that you provide us, with the measurements in a, I guess, in a
sketch.
sketch drawing.
Yeah, can I ask a question before? Could we come back with potentially an option also of it being lowered?
Sure.
If that's,
Yeah.
okay,
Could I add one thing? That the cornice be restored?
Yeah,
Yes, and with the restoration of the cornice fascia that's currently, the trim that's currently.
that's cut, yep,
cut.
yep.
anybody?
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'm opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you.
So you'll come back with, it doesn't, are you gonna have Glenn do it or?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell him it just has to be sketchy. It doesn't. have to
Okay,
be
yeah,
nothing
thank you.
exciting, You know,
Okay,
nothing. Not,
No,
no.
no three-dimensional, no three-dimensional model.
Right, right.
I think our kids have destroyed that almost.
Thank you for doing this.
Of
Yeah,
course,
thank you.
yeah.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
I'm sorry about
Thank
our
you.
error.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to
Thank
you
you.
guys.
What?
You just sold the window.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Oh, my. No, that's very.
Yeah, okay. The next item is Elizabeth Simkin Tushik, trustee for Plot 5, Lot 14, 445 Ocean Avenue, application to enlarge an existing one-story, one-bay garage to a two-story garage with 2 bays and a second floor apartment.
Sounds about right.
You want to talk about it or tell?
Well, as you probably all noticed, we did a pretty significant renovation last
Can you
year.
talk into the mic?
Sorry.
It's-
We did a significant, yeah, it says green. I think we're on. So the renovation was completed to the main house this year. And the next phase for us was to tackle the very old single car garage and bring it into the same look and feel that we created with the main house. And since we're doing that, we would like to make it a 2-bay garage instead of a 1-bay garage, and then put an apartment above it for my parents. You may all know we've been here for many generations, and everybody loves to be here. We're just running out of space. So we would like to put an apartment above for them and have it the same look and feel that we had have with the main house. The illustrations you see in those preliminary drawings are just preliminary. We worked with Tracy Dillon to come up with all of the finishes and the look and feel on the main house. Unfortunately, she is swamped. So we have, we're in the process of working with another architect who will work with us to create all of the detail information to match the look and feel for the main house. The structure of the garage is going to be stick built by a company in Pennsylvania who we've been working with for over a year now, tweaking, requirements and sizes and whatnot. And so they will actually bring their crew out once we have the pad poured and cleared, and stick build it so that it's dried in. And then we'll have a local crew do the finish work on the inside and the outside.
Well, you don't have any dimensions on any of the elevations or any of the roof slopes. And the other thing is, just looking at the plans and looking at this elevation, it's not real. Because you have kitchen cabinets there, which would make these windows a lot smaller.
That it is
The
a,
slope of the roof is not within our guidelines. So,
yeah, I believe we stuck to that because we knew that going in.
You mean it's not within, it doesn't conform to our.
correct.
Well, as I said, the drawings that we have submitted are preliminary drawings. They're not, we didn't want to go and spend thousands of dollars with an architect until we knew that we had support to go ahead and finish the design to the detail that you all would require.
So
Um,
you're looking for us to approve the massing and siding?
The massing and sizing. Yeah. And then we realized there's another meeting. At least this is what we did the last time. You know, we've had one preliminary meeting and then we came back with all of the aesthetic details.
I think you did a real nice job on the converting the original building.
Thank
to,
you.
something that's far more effective than it was fun to watch it come about and did that real well.
Yeah, we're happy
I
with,
do find this objection,
how so?
any garage like that, I would hope that you could find a way to rotate it 90 degrees. It's so prominent in that position to be staring at two huge garage doors. It detracts tremendously from.
So I hope you can appreciate, we have been working also with CRMC and we have their requirements that we have to work with as well. And they wanted us, we had proposed it turned and closer to the street. And they said, we will not approve that. The only thing we will consider approving is where it is now if you just go wider. That's what forced us to do that. So we're kind of up against a rock and a hard place because we have one entity that we have to get both entities to agree for us to go forward, but that one has already told us that they won't approve it unless we leave it as is.
Basis of their objection.
They don't want us to force any more clearing of the land. And so expanding it the way it is right now, we can use the existing cleared land and only go another bay's width into the.
Yeah, but
brush.
if you moved it so it's behind your house more, then you could enter it from the I don't know what side it is.
West.
Right, from the west side.
But there is, okay, what's CRMC concerned about? I think there may be some things that aren't as.
You have to talk to them.
What is CRM? I was trying to open this.
It's all buffer setbacks. They want us to be in a certain area and they are currently, and I mean, we've been communicating this week. They're currently working on it and I have not gotten an approval yet. We have the survey setback lines they want redrawn. So Ken Cole is working on that.
Wait. Oh, it's in here. It's in. Yeah.
We own plenty of land to the left there, but because of the wetlands and the survey, we can't, we have to work within the confines of the requirements.
Because you've got a lot of wetland issues there, don't you?
In the back, yeah.
It's bound, you also have it on the side.
Well, with the creek on the side
Yeah.
and we have the water in the back and it comes up a little bit on the far side of the property in the brush there.
Yeah, the creek on the back was the creek on the side is what I was
Side,
talking about, because
yeah.
that goes all the way up to
The deer love that.
the swamp.
Where's
Yeah.
the creek?
It's between us and Kimberly's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Drawing shows the garage into the vegetation also.
It would go into the vegetation, just would not go in as much as if we placed it somewhere else. That's why they,
Well,
Painted
if
the
you,
other way, it would go in less.
right, if we're rotated 90 degrees, right. just-
so you're saying place it in the backyard.
and
our
move it-
current
Move it
backyard.
further into your backyard.
Yeah, CRMC is saying that it requires a greater variance to the setbacks if we rotate it 90 degrees, so that would be headed north if we think about the orientation.
Why? I don't understand why.
Because the wetlands come into the back of the property further than they do on the side. So there's CRMC's saying that, again, it would be a greater percentage of, I'm forgetting the term now, but
Variance.
variance to the setback.
But if you moved it this way towards Kimberly's,
You're just saying put it in our current backyard.
correct. That way it doesn't become so offensive and the people walking by.
You'd also,
A substantial increase. I mean, just the width of it is more than double what you.
Slightly more than double.
Right.
okay, are you looking to put in a double driveway or what are you looking to put into this?
No, we would just use our same curb cut that we have.
Well, they have to have a double
Well,
driveway.
that's what I'm asking.
It would just go wider, but
Yeah.
we wouldn't take any more of the curb cut.
No, I'm asking, would it be, it would go wider only when you got closer to the garage?
Yes, which is, we park 2 cars wide there now.
Because where I was going with that was if you move this around and back, you're going to have more driveway. What is your driveway?
Our driveway's is straight on. So if we
What's it
moved it,
made of? Sorry.
it's grass,
Gravel.
it's just grass.
It's gonna
It's not
stay that way.
gravel, it's just grass.
Dirt.
Yeah, it's just dirt. So if we moved it to the backyard, we would be changing the entire driveway structure, the entrance and all of that.
We also have a challenge because we have to handle the rainwater off the roof. You'll notice that we had to put a catch basin in. And again, we weren't permitted to put that to the west of the structure. So it is now placed between the garage and the main building. And that is the only location
And the catch basin is for the increased runoff for the proposed new garage, or is it related to your existing house as well?
It's not related to the existing house. It's just with the current codes, when you put a new structure up, you can't have the rainwater runoff. So that was,
That's when you have attention.
yeah, you gotta have a retention.
Well, that could be relocated somewhere else if you move.
We've we've moved the puzzle pieces quite a few times and that's, CRMC obviously was
Turn this 90
pushing.
degrees.
But then it's going to impact the.
Well, not,
Okay, basically. You've got the lot you've got. I don't think anything should ever have been built, and this is not your fault, from Bridgegate to the police station. I mean, that whole thing is swamp, low ground swamp, but that's what you've got and you've got to deal with it. And we can't say, well, we don't like it there because we don't like it there. The swamp is there and that's the reality we all have to work with. You have to work with it. We have to work with it. So I wasn't in charge back when they were filling things in 100 years ago.
In concept, I'm not opposed to large garage apartment concept. The massing of it, I do find very problematic, and personally, I find it larger than appropriate for this space.
Well, we did pay some attention to the historic district and have over the last year, as we've been thinking about this project, trying to pay attention to what other people have done and have noticed and photographed, many other 2-car garages that are on Ocean Avenue and in the downtown area. So we tried to use that as our guide to say, okay, if we're going to put a structure up, these are already here and approved. So we use that as our guide.
well, I don't know which ones, you should.
I have photographs. I mean, they're
That would be helpful to have some
Yeah.
precedent photographs. But I think the roof line of the second floor is peculiar. I don't think I think it does detract from the district. And I assume it was to maximize the footprint of the second floor, but
I agree with Mike, having 2 garage doors looking you smack in the face is awful. And I don't know why you have the extra 10 feet on the side, whatever.
just for space. We have-
Yeah, well, that's kind of adding fuel to the fire. I shouldn't say that.
I think just as is
There's,
currently presented, it detracts from the district.
Oh, that's where the,
But that's
But
got
see-
the opposite orientation of the house.
Correct.
But the doors are out front. We were using that as a.
Right, but the roof line, I mean, I think as presented, it's
The roof-
incongruous.
Right.
There's a conflict of what's visually presented here.
Well, and I think that was driven partly from the CRMC saying, okay, well, we want it to be this direction. Well, okay, so then
Right, I understand
we're trying to make.
why
everybody
you did
happy, but-
this, but I think visually it's not working.
What is, do we have the back side, back of this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere it's in the,
it's even worse than the front. I can't accept this as for massing and citing.
no, I can't either, but I mean, if they want to go back and revisit it.
We will take your feedback because obviously we want to be able
If
to.
there's
do
a
it.
way we can give them some constructive,
We want to be able to come back and say, all right, we took your input and this is what we have now.
This is a personal thought.
Yes.
How would anybody feel about the salt box?
I was thinking that.
That's what I was.
Salt box, I think would slide in there really well. Now, I know.
But turn 90
But
degrees.
how does it functionally?
Not necessarily. I thought it was a salt box from this.
I saw that and I
I think you
said
could do
it
a
wanted
salt
to
box.
become a salt box.
I think you could do a double wide salt box.
Yeah, but
That
without
would
the extra
look-
10
That would
feet.
look at, you
know,
know,
where
the
they-
historic district, it's an outlying house. So it would look like a barn that belonged to the house. You still have your second floor with the space that you guys want. You can throw as many skylights and dormers in it as you please to get that natural light. Just something to think about.
You still end up with the two garage doors facing the street. right?
You still have, the
You-
you
you
still
have-
have the two garage doors facing.
Unless they turn it 90
But you don't,
degrees.
unless you turn it 90.
And
You
put
have those smiling through,
I'm sorry,
smiling through.
smiling through, yeah. Smiling through, and I just built one for Robano up on Smith Street.
And where?
Actually, Robon, up behind, Bobby Kenny's place
On what street?
on Spring Street.
Oh, this is Smith Street.
No.
Or are
Spring
you?
Street, but it originally was supposed to be a two-car garage, salt box style. At the last second, we actually turned it into a home and built them another garage. But I'm just saying a salt box lends to what I think you're looking for size on your second floor,
Yeah.
to the historic consideration, and you've got all the same space.
And I
But
think.
does-
And it really, instead of looking like a mini version of your house,
It
it
looks
now
like
looks
a
like you have a barn
Right.
next to your house that
What we just did, to me, it sounds like it's a different style than what we just.
Well, that wouldn't be
Well,
bad.
it's not bad because it's an auxiliary garage.
Yeah.
And I think right now visually, it looks like you're trying to stress that it's a house. To me, this doesn't, it doesn't work visually. And I think if you stress it's a garage with an apartment above, you know, if there's a way to, that extra 10 feet extension, if there's a way to not have that, you know, but these are things to try to.
Well, and I
work out.
think we have I'm speaking myself, but, you know, to turn the garage and have it in the backyard would change how we would be
Access.
driving all over our yard.
Right.
I mean, that would benefit.
Yeah, I really
I-
don't,
I-
I really
I
don't
agree.
like the turn garage. It looks like looks like a mainland garage. It's pretending not to be a garage, which I can't.
Right, if it's a
Stand.
garage,
Garage.
it's a garage.
But
And it would be our hope that we would make it look nice. Huh?
But there
Hey.
are other places, if you go up and down the street and don't look just for double bays of garages that go, or sheds that turned into garages, whatever, that go with buildings like the Star Cottage. I mean, it has a cottage that has a second floor. It doesn't, match the main house. If you go up on the corner of the Barrington, that back building used to be a barn. if you go up to Wagon Seals, the corner building used to be a barn. I mean, there are a lot of trying to mimic or make one reflect the other doesn't necessarily work and isn't necessarily in keeping. I think you gotta look at Round the Island, or there are other, I'm sorry, I can't think of anything but Smiling Through. And that's the salt box that,
But they don't have the same historic districts. You know,
but that's a classic. That's the first salt box I remember being built out here. And it works. I think it works. It certainly doesn't match the house. It does have dormers on the back, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't it? Anybody help me with the one?
No, it doesn't.
Are you sure?
I think it does have dormers on the back.
Who is this?
Jimmy Stockman Smiling Through.
The
on
garage,
Kunamis, on the corner of
Right,
Kunamis.
right.
the garage.
I don't see it.
Oh, you're talking about the garage?
Yes,
No, the garage does have,
that's what I'm talking about. the
I'm
garage.
sorry. I thought you were right. The actual
Because that's the one with
Smiling
big
Through.
doors that look like barn doors that actually really aren't anymore, but they look like it.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are other examples. That's just the only like that
and
jumps out at
a
me.
barn door look would help. And, you know, this is Ray Preparian's going to build it.
no, this.
His name is on the
yeah,
application.
he's Do all of the finished work. There's both.
Because he's not from Pennsylvania.
Sheds Unlimited is also listed there. They're from Shed. They have their whole licensed crew that would come in and stick build. And then they would leave and Ray would take over. And Ray knows all of this. We've been in discussion with him. He's fine with the handoff and all of that.
I suspect that a good architect should help a lot.
We've already talked to one of them. Everybody has given us names and everybody's very busy. So there was no way we could do that level of detail for this meeting, but we did feel confident that we could at least come to you with our ideas, obviously get your feedback and,
No, and I think the level of what you presented conveys the direction you wanted to go. in. I
and I
think,
hope that you can
it-
see that by what we've already done, that's the level
oh, no, understood,
we're
but
gonna
I
do,
do
whatever
agree
we
with,
do is. gonna
I do
be-
agree with Martha. I think trying to focus on making the expanded garage match the house too much might almost be tripping you up. I mean, I think there's an opportunity to.
Didn't expect that,
No,
so.
did not
Yeah.
expect that.
And
I
I
mean,
got it.
it's no, you guys did a lovely job on that.
Ourselves to say,
But it
well,
now,
they told us that these were
But I mean, historically, there's so many examples of the house and the auxiliary building. It
Yeah,
was a farm building.
more like a
it was,
Well, what's
Well-
there now is not good. So,
No.
I mean, I would think you would all want that to go away.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
it's not
I mean,
offensive.
but you don't notice it. It's a little, it's.
Well, that's not what they want.
Elizabeth, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Going right down the driveway.
Right.
It's the standard salt box, because then this is showing, this is to the road.
Yeah.
You know, do some nice barn doors, do a nice big window, so you still got your light, and that looks like an accessory building, not a miniature version of your building.
right.
But that's why you go with the salt box, so that you still have that second floor space, you don't have any.
For the
Yeah.
gamble.
And you do cathedral, and if you go
Yeah, that's
cathedral with
a-
it, now you're gonna have
that's
really
a-
nice.
Right,
big second
beams,
floor.
Bill, that's a
Like,
gambrel.
I think
That's
that
not.
might even be a gambrel, what you
Oh,
scheduled.
well,
But
please,
right.
my
Yeah.
sketching isn't the best.
So,
Better.
Okay, well then go with Gambrel, but
Gamble isn't going to work.
no,
I mean, what you want to,
Okay,
If
we
so
were getting somewhere.
so-
and everybody had to-
just to clarify, you're going to go back to the drawing board, so to speak.
I guess we are
Okay. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the not too distant future.
next month.
Like.
But to make sure that I understand the comments. Switch it, we can keep the doors on the front, change the look of it so it doesn't mimic so much the main house. Although we would still be talking about the same siding and stuff, right?
Of course.
Okay, same trim, same windows. Okay.
I gotta listen
Okay.
to suggestions.
Questions? Anything else? Anything else?
Just salt box or gambrel, like you said.
Well-
Gambrel,
Something
Well,
other than
what he
you
drew was a
presented.
gambrel.
We drew.
The gambrel isn't,
Look around at Bourne's on the.
the gambrel isn't going to work. Gambrel isn't traditional on Block Island anyway. They were built after the 38 hurricane.
And even the one you showed us, the Red Right Return.
The annex, yeah,
barn.
this one.
Yeah, it doesn't have, it's got a nice slope to the roof.
That's why I say,
Yeah.
if you get a good architect, you may come up with something that just feels a whole lot better. This
Is that
black style.
And you talked to Doug Gilpin?
No, because we heard he was incredibly busy. We talked to Joseph, we've talked to Tracy.
Just saying, if you get in touch with Doug, you
Yeah.
miss 1,000% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, but who,
And Doug
who,
knows the district
who,
very well. in his-
Yeah, no, I understand. I know.
who did the,
Doesn't have to be an on island.
who did Red Right Return?
Well, we're currently talking to a woman who's not on island, who knows Tracy recommended her. So she said, give Emily a call, and so Emily's gonna come out and help us, hopefully. But we could call Doug too and find out what he's up to.
There's also the building behind the building that Darius built.
He's-
Behind the Darius rebuilt their barn behind.
Right, he did that?
I know, I don't know, I'm just saying that's an example of something to look at.
Oh, okay.
Ask them who did that.
Okay.
Steel. Copy.
Dang. All right, we'll go back to the drawing board. We'll see you again soon.
Well, Glenn, I call him Pinocchio, but Pinocchio. He's very good.
I don't know that name.
Think he's gonna be busy.
But everybody is
I
busy.
hope he's gonna be
Jeez.
busy.
It's crazy.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Too much building going on.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, thanks.
You want to eat?
I
Okay,
got
the
it.
next thing on our agenda
We're back.
is we have to go to training.
Brewery session. That's how the contracts we have.
Arlene, I emailed this woman and said, you can't make it on enough on the vote, and she said she's gonna get back to us about,
Who's that, Zurier? Oh, it's there.
about doing an online thing that would fit you.
Okay, what we could do is,
Well, you can do it at your own house, so online.
or the ideal thing would be for us to come here
Yeah,
and do it on Zoom,
Yeah.
and then we could ask questions and.
and I'll get the same information at the same
That's what
time.
I've been pushing for.
I prefer that.
And she said she would try to do that.
My
You know, I
house is
talked to
quiet.
her.
I have.
Trying to see if you could have, that they're late and you early. We get there very late, you leave very early. I didn't realize how far.
How far north is it? Like,
It's Warwick, but it's not.
oh, I
Oh,
was
that's-
joking.
It's not like on the road, it's like, yes.
It's like 35 minutes Warwick.
Well, the thing is,
Yeah.
you could come across something like this where we plan to go off. and
Well, and I
we
mean,
can't
I've got an
go off.
apartment.
You know,
but
with
not
4
everybody
days, you
does.
can't get
And-
off.
And also. I've got kids, a kid.
So will you contact?
I'll go over some time, go to HTC.
All right, she could, I got an email from her today. I sent it to all of you.
Yes.
Okay, about archaeological studies. It sounded interesting if you want to go on.
Somebody's getting their chestnuts, that's very hot.
So I'll contact her and see if we can't do a Zoom thing. And what's a convenient hour for everybody?
Nothing. I mean, honestly, I'm catch as catch can, so.
Yeah,
whatever.
so, like,
Well, try to work
I mean,
around it.
if we
I
could do it,
I gave up on it.
could
Just
could we
tell me
do it like
whenever you-
4 o'clock in the afternoon? Is that
Yeah, I'd be fine with me.
How
yeah,
long is?
an hour, I think?
That's wonderful.
That's it.
Well, it says a 3-hour training program. But,
We only have to do an hour with her.
yeah.
Gotta click the boxes. so that you
Each
know we can
each
attach
member
it.
is required to complete a 1-hour annual update each year.
I make.
Well, I'll find out and we'll be in touch. We don't have the minutes to approve.
Yeah,
She said this. Oh, okay. Okay.
You and I commented.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I make a motion to approve the excellently prepared minutes that Corey prepared immediately following the last meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd have a motion to adjourn. Second.
Yeah, second. that.
All in favor? Aye.
Oh. And now I'm stuck in a quandary.